Good evening. It's 7 o'clock on a Monday night, and I am here for mental mind treatments. Just excuse my nose. I had some little bit of surgery on it, and rather than cover it up, I do believe the air helps heal these things. So I decided I would just look like a funny nose, and you'll get over that. If I hold my head way back, you'd never see it, but you don't want to look up my nostrils anyway. So good evening. Welcome. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have. I have a sheet here with all sorts of things. People email me, phone me, or just things I want to be able to work with us at all. Excuse me. This happens a lot when I begin to start doing these kind of work. My throat has to clear itself. So excuse me for coughing for a moment. It's like a kind of like an energy clearing and making sure that everything's working so the information can come through really, really good. If you haven't visited my mental mind treatments before, what it is, it's like a type of prayer. I learned it under the name of spiritual mind treatments, but because I have a psychic ability, I actually don't follow their procedures 100%. So, as I was contemplating on doing this, I decided I would call them mental mind treatments because they are designed not only to change your energy, but to change how you perceive things, how you see things, and how you work. So, first of all, just to get myself into an alignment, because it's been one of those fairly busy days, I'm just going to talk to the one power, the one essence that's in all things, including myself, that I be brought into harmony and awareness so that everybody that I work with is clear, concise, and easy. And in the meantime, it works to keep my body aligned. Any healing that needs to get done is done with ease and grace, and that I am able to work in an effective way until we have completed everybody who needs a mental mind treatment. I'm going to start off tonight with Gwen. Um, and as I move into that one power and that one essence that loves all things for Gwen, this is about being able to love yourself fully and completely without judgment, without criticism, without the feeling of not being good enough. I know that these decisions that have been made in previous times can be let go. And in letting go, it allows in the universal love force just to reinforce the need and the awareness of loving ourselves completely. I speak my word as Gwen, knowing that I am whole and complete and in a beautiful, beautiful awareness of my true value. And as I know my true value, it begins to move out into the world. And therefore, I begin to hear the compliments. I begin to hear and see and know that, yes, I have achieved and I can achieve more and I can be all that I want to be with ease and grace. So we give thanks and knowing that Gwen can have this. We give thanks and knowing that all things flow in an easy formula for her and that all is well. And it brings about a tremendous sense of direction and being. And so we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is as we release that. And I see that my dear Karen is here. I just want to say I loved your Sunday thought. Oh, thank you. And I would love a treatment for me to be a, a in a joyfully hang on, to be a joyfully disciplined person. Much gratitude. You know, it would be wonderful if these could be just a little bigger. I'm going to put extra, my glasses see really well, but the print is just a little small. And I haven't I don't know. Anyway, thanks, Karen. Okay, I've got that. You want to be a joyfully disciplined person. I love it. Discipline can have the two first. We'll see. Interesting to see what comes through because we're going to have two aspects to that. Anyway, as I move into the power of the one, as I speak a word for Karen in this universal love force, and we know that it's there for each and every one of us and everything around us, this force exists and breathes. I know that Karen has a great desire to be all that she can be, where life is simple and easy. And therefore, the need of a disciplined response for what it is in relation to where you're going and what you're wanting to do and how you want to do it joyfully and wonderfully. And this means letting go of all self criticism, all self judgment, letting go and moving into the love force to allow yourself to be perfectly you. So every time there is a judgment thought, it just dissipates and floats out into nothing. Every time there is a feeling of awareness of being, and you feel like, oh, I could have done that better. I should have done it this way. I should have done, that takes the joy away. And so we invite joy to come into Karen. We invite joy to fill every cell of her body as she celebrates being alive on earth right now, doing what it is she loves to do or chooses to do. Sometimes we do things we don't prefer, but we know that we need to do them. But we can do it joyfully and happily, knowing that we are loved and supported 100% by all the beauty that there is in the world. Now, I give thanks. I give thanks in knowing that Karen is open to being joyful. I give thanks in knowing that Karen can be as disciplined as she chooses. But I also give thanks in knowing that all the judgments and the negative thinking is disappeared. And there is just pure delight in doing those things that need to be done. I give thanks in the knowing. I give thanks in the awareness of Karen's beautiful, beautiful awareness of being by saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, as I release this thought, knowing it's true. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Okay, before I go back to my sheet, my friend Kayla has said, thank you, Norma, for being you and sharing your amazing gifts with us all. You do make such a difference in mine and so many lives. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sometimes it feels like you just work away and you don't always, but it's always nice to have, feedback. And many of you who come on this and write, send out your mind treats do say that. And Karen's just saying this again here. Beautiful treatment. Anyone who listens to this will get a healing. Thank you. And that's what I'm hearing from some of the comments that are coming in. They said, oh, so many of the things you say can relate to anyone. We're not very different. We are not very different. We are a little bit like a flower garden. We all have a different flower face, but we all have stems and we all have roots and we are planted in the soil. Our soil here is the universal love force. And if we don't feed on that, if we don't know that, and if we don't bring that forward, sometimes our life can become very dry and brittle, and judgment and self-criticism really comes up tremendously more than it needs to. Now I'm coming down into another one on my paper here from a client. I'll just say A. And A is wanting to find the right home and as she is moving. So we're going to do it in two ways because there's also some health issues here. So I'm going to speak my word for A. And in my mind, I say her full name. Knowing that the right home, the perfect home, easy move is right there. And there is such enjoyment, there's such celebration, and there's such awareness of knowing that. And in knowing and having the home be there, the health begins to do a magical improvement. There is this awareness that life can be easy, can flow with ease and grace, that the obstacles do not have to be looked for, but that anything that comes up is easily transcended, is easily accepted and let go of, and allowing and knowing that there is more to life, there is more awareness by relaxing and allowing and knowing that there is strength and love and purpose in every breath that you take. The universal love force is there to support you. and to let go of the knowing or the belief that there's only hardship. And in letting go of the belief and knowing of hardship makes all of a sudden everything open up and become such a delight in being alive on this planet. And even when we do have an obstacle, it's the knowing that we can move through that easily because we are supported by the divine. We are supported by this love force. We are supported as we move our steps one after the other. And we will be shown where we need to step and where we need to go if we would just relax and allow everything to fall into place instead of worrying and figuring and what ifs and maybes and perhapses. We erase all those. We erase those because the universe is always looking for the thoughts to create what you want. And when you have all the opposition in your head about, oh, what if this and maybe that and perhaps this, it goes, well, what does she really want? And the thing is knowing that there is a way through, and to think that, okay, what's my next step? And allow it to come to you, allow it to be there, allow it to know. And knowing that life brings to us, and Miss A is going to find that the letting go, the relaxing, the allowing the beauty of life to unfold exactly as it needs to. I give thanks for this. I give thanks in the knowing that Miss A will create and be happy. And also the happiness makes the body relax, and so good health comes. That everything flows and flourishes, and the answers to solutions are right there because the body is relaxed. I give thanks in knowing this. I give thanks in knowing that it all will be well. And I do this by saying, and so it is. Amen. Okay. Now, I had another one for Miss K, who's already actually written, but I'm going to say this because I'd written it down. I'm just going to talk a little bit before I do this because the one I just did and this one here is very, in a way, similar. You know, I don't know about you, but when I first started, I didn't know all of this. And the more I got into metaphysics, very often, I still didn't take it in. But this energy that I talk about wants the best for each and every one of us. It is our own thinking that gets us into trouble. It is our own not believing that miracles occur. It is our own awareness of not seeing and accepting that we are more, much more than we could ever think possible. And it's by allowing ourselves to let go and accept that not only that we are loved beyond measure by this beautiful force, that we can be relaxed about. We can know what we want. We can create what we want. And we can also enjoy life opening up for us. I often talk about myself and my experiences because what else have I really got to go on? And I made many errors. I banged my head on many walls because my insecurities would show up, would come in. And it would be nice for me to see more, you might say, younger people begin to really be aware of their potential. And by co-creating their life with this wonderful force and accepting they are loved, they can begin to let go the criticism that comes up in their head about themselves. The non-acceptance that we are more than we could ever imagine. That we can do, if we set our minds on something, we can do it one way or the other. And if there is really not the way to go, you'll be showing that. But it's like not to criticize yourself because it's not coming easily. It's by being aware. And I just want everybody who is listening right now or listens after, I find a lot of people view this after, is just to join me in thought for a moment as I do a general for any of us who have doubt. Doubt. What is doubt? Doubt is the non belief that something you want could be true or could happen or could come into being. Those doubts that we have about life, those doubts that we have about ourselves, the criticisms, the non-belief thoughts, I always say the whatever, how, like the ought, the got to, I should, I shouldn't, all of that gets so jumbled that the universe, this loving force, cannot possibly know what to bring you. So it brings you a mess, or it brings you jumbled things. The more clear you have in your thought, the more your feelings accept your wonderfulness, the easier life becomes. And I'm not saying that just because they're words. I have found that to be true for myself, my clients, and many others that have listened or attended workshops, etc., because this force is there for you. It loves you. It welcomes you here on this planet. It wants you to succeed. So we have to look at how come we don't? How come we doubt it? How come we question it? Summer is arriving in this part of the world. Summer is finally spring. We're still in spring because we're not in the middle of June yet. Finally coming. Spring is coming. It's come late, but it's coming. The flowers are coming out. The beauty of that. And that is like you. You are a beautiful being. And what kind of flower are you? What kind of essence do you put out? And I want you to know that this love force is there saying, there are so many different flowers. There are so many different plants. There's so many different trees in this world that add to the beauty of this planet. And your essence, your soul that is here adds to that if you allow it to blossom and bloom, no matter the outside circumstances. The knowing and trusting that that is there for you. Miracles can happen. All of a sudden, the right person, the right place, the right whatever it is you require. Now, I know this is true for every person who listens. I know this is true for every person that walks on this planet. But do we do what that? Or do we get taken up by all sorts of other things and our self-belief begins to fall? Sometimes it just goes away. Sometimes we get angry about things, or we feel sad about something, or we do whatever. But the reality is here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tonight about health and well-being, myself included. Now, I'm just going to give thanks for everybody to accept who they truly are as I now move forward into for a mail, which I always like. Well, actually, I got 2 mails to treat for tonight. This is for a B, Mr. B. Older gentleman, not doing so well in many areas. And I know this person very well. And it's my choice to make this mental mind treatment for him, not that it's been asked for. But I know that the power of love is strong. I also know that there can be an inner strength that comes when our bodies begin to get weak and seem to shrivel and agree. That health just naturally happens. Choices are made that support the health and the strength and the well-being. So I know that the thoughts within Mr. B's head, in his mind, in his soul essence, begin to make different choices. And in making different choices, he begins to flourish in strength and therefore in health. As he begins to perceive and know his limitations, yes, but joyfully and with ease and grace. And so I say thank you, thank you, thank you to the great loving force. I say thank you for Mr. Bob's strength and health and awareness. And I release this thought knowing that it is true by saying, and so it is. Amen. Now, If you listen to any of my shows, you will know that I'm a sports nut for tennis and soccer, which pretty not quite over because there's some international play, but the basic thing, teams and stuff like that have done for, they set up again quite early, actually, probably at the end of August. But anyhow, right now there are tennis players in Paris, and we still have one Canadian still playing, a young girl by the name of Layla. And a friend of mine has asked me to do mental mind treatments for Layla and also for her champion, which is Mr. Nadal, who's a Spanish person. So I'm going to do one for Layla first, and then we'll do one for Nadal, who's suffering. He's been around for a long time and very, very well known and very popular tennis player. But young Layla has done really, really well the last few years and is young still. And she is great. But anyway, here we go. Divine Essence, Mother, Father, Son is one. I'm doing a mental mind treatment for Layla. And as I do a mental mind treatment for Layla, I know that her energy is boundless, that she has resources that come from deep within the earth. Her connection to the earth is very, very strong, that she utilizes that to give her strength and a fire inside to do the best she can. She allows that strength to come into her mind so that she's able to sort things out very quickly and easily as to the best way to work with her opponents. I give thanks in knowing that Layla already is working with the divine, was working with that force of power, and her mind is clear and her strength is strong. And I give thanks in knowing that this is done for her by saying, and so it is. Amen. I want to explain something about this, is that Layla's ability is to figure out, and her father is her coach, but her ability to figure out her opponent. And that's why sometimes she might lose the first set and then she'll win the next two because it's out of 3 sets. And is because she consists, and it came up here, but that's one of the things I did read, is that she says in her things that it just took me a little while to figure out what she's got to do and how she's got to play. She is one of our big hopes for sure. We've got a male coming up. We've got 2 males, but more than that, but 2. But one is playing very, very well. Now let's talk about Mr. Nadal. Well known, but suffering a lot of pain and different health conditions. Talking about retirement right now because he has a foot issue that's really hurts him. But he's playing tomorrow in a very big game. So let's see what we get. Divine Essence, Mother, Father, Son is one. I'm doing a prayer for the tennis player Nadal, what we know of as Nadal. Now, I know that he is a fighter. He pushes himself to the end of his energy, mental exhaustion, whenever he plays, because that's what he does. I also know that he has great recuperative powers, where often it may take a person 1 or 2 weeks to recuperate. He takes 24 hours, maybe 36, but by 48, he's back to his resources have been replenished. One of the reasons that I see for this is that he made a connection to the earth energy very young. And he was trained, actually, it seems, to bring that earth energy up when he needs it. So he's very, very connected to the earth. He's very connected in his thought of power, of awareness, and what he needs to do. It's like the thought comes to him the second before he needs it. It is so clear to him. And so at this point of time, knowing that he does have a lot of physicality issues, I know that the earth supports him as long as he wants to keep going. And yes, he may make a decision to retire, but he will be complete when he does that. He will feel complete, that there is the way of his change. And he will change in format, maybe not playing tennis matches. And well, he's probably still will for other things, but not massive competition that he does now. And he will rejoice and be relaxed, and ability to be able to pass on what he knows with more gentleness, with a gentleness and an awareness and knowing. And I give thanks in knowing that Nadala's connection to the earth is so strong that it actually says why he has been able to play like he has for so long. It explains so many things of who he is and what he is and where he is and how it works. And you too, before I finish this, I just let this go out into by saying thank you, thank you, thank you to the earth, to the great power that comes from the earth, our love for energy, and knowing that all will be well because he feels well. He feels like he knows what he can do, what he wants to do, and somehow or other it's done. So I give thanks for that. I give thanks in knowing that he's at peace within himself for whatever happens and comes because he is connected, which is grace. And so it is. And I want to make a comment on that is that I've watched Nadal play tennis for many, many years, and he's fierce. He's a fierce competitor. He never gives up. He never stops. He has injuries galore because he pushes his body to the end. And he's talked about how he's got a foot problem that's there all the time now, but he still plays when he wants and builds himself back up. I never realized that he was so connected to the earth till tonight. I never realized that he drew that energy up, which has made him such a magnificent player where people all around the world absolutely adore him. And yeah, so I just want you to be aware of this connection to the earth is not without the beauty of being able to move beyond. But, we get so caught up with and I'm the same. I get so caught up with what's going on. I got a pain here. I got a pain there. This won't work right. And this won't work. I forget that the earth is supports our body. It gives our body energy. It allows us to rejuvenate. I know I'm a person that has spent a lot of my life in my head. And it took me a long time to learn to come down and get in touch with my body and accept my body for what it has done and what it has put up with. And I realize right now, tonight, that I've never really allowed the earth energy to heal in an ultimate way. And maybe some of you who watch this don't do it either. So it is something I have to commit to. This is one reason I do these things. I learn so much. And I will work on that connection to the real connection to the earth. Not because I feel it, I know it, it's there, yes, but really connecting to it and being part of it and letting it heal those parts of myself that stop me from being able to do some of the things I want to do. So thank you for listening to that. Now I've got one more to do before, if nobody else, Laurie says, hi, Norma. I say hi back. Thank you for your comments too, Laurie. Appreciated. Now, I've got one that was requested, and that's for Miss R. Okay, I know there's one power in one essence, and as I speak my word from Miss R, I know that the health conditions that have been occurring to this body are being breathed out, I guess, breathed out. It's like This is a lung issue for some. I know that's not where the issue appears, but it feels like a lung issue. It feels congested, like shallow breathing, not deep breathing. And so for a moment, I'm just going to breathe deeply into my lungs as a vehicle for Miss Ah to be able to get her body back in harmony. It's like the blood that is being let out is tears, tears of remorse, tears of sadness and and regret. And so I am knowing that all regret, remorse, and whatever else I said there, for I was already missed it. But sadness, etc., is there. Is just let go into the sea of life. Just think of a large open ocean of love, and it's like from the lungs hold grief, and it's like, oh God, I want to cry, but I'm not going to. It's there's so much grief that just needs to be let go into the sea of love, to allow love to take it, to maybe, I don't know where this is coming from. It's dig a hole in the earth and pour it into the earth and let the earth take it and make beautiful flowers with it. It is time to give up the remorse and the grief and the sadness and all those things that you have harbored for so long, so that your lungs can breathe easily and the rest of your body can come into balance. I know that this message will be given to Miss Ah. I know that love and light will always heal if we allow it. The key is to allow and not to hold on to that grief and remorse and sadness and all the feeling of why me, why me. Well, we know how we create, don't we? We create by how, this is my stuff, I know, but we create by decisions we've made, often based on past life experience or other lives experience. And we make decisions which become beliefs that create the world around us. And it's by understanding that we need often just to work in the present of letting go all that there is. So any of you that are feeling grief, any of you that are feeling that you want some things in a different way, just make a hole somewhere in the sand and just pour it out. Oh, or have a transformation session with me. But I just want to tidy this up first by saying I am so grateful for the information from Miss Ah that's come through. And even though my nose is running because there's so much grief that I've had to just clear in the immediate, but it's like we got to get it off our DNA. We got to get it off the parts of us we hold on to. And it's not about trying to figure it out. It's just by saying, I don't need this anymore. And letting it go. Sometimes as healers, there's this thing of I'm lucky I learned a long time not to take things on personally, but sometimes there's residue. But it's like the letting go. But I've never used the analogy of making a hole in the earth before. It's not something I know. It's been given. It's been given for a purpose, which means that not only Miss R will learn from this, but maybe others who listen to this will figure it out. You do not have to carry your pain. We're not here to be saints or to be saviors or whatever other word you would use on that. We're here to be vehicles of love, to enjoy life. The more we're enjoying, the more fun we have, even if it's limited, which it sometimes is these days. We can still do that. We can still be all that we can be. And all these people, for those of you that wrote in, like Karen and Kayla, and Laurie has said hi, just know how much you're loved. And there's no need to beat yourselves up or feel less than. There's no need for that. But we all do it. I know. I'm not exempt. But that's why I love doing this work, because I'm showing often how to correct some of the things that we do, because there is love and there is light there for all of us. And so I want you to know that all of us are not different from each other. We have different ways of holding our pain. We have different ways, and sometimes it's lifetimes. Lifetimes we carry it. And it's time to let it go. So this world can begin to heal in a whole different vibration. Everybody says, oh, the vibration is changing, we're moving. But if we don't start healing who we are on the inside into the joyous realms, and allow the energy to be able to move forward, we'll just keep recreating the same, no matter if we're in this life or another life. It is time. It is time to make those changes. Whoever you choose to work with, whatever you choose to do, begin. Begin. I'm taking a breath. Wow, look at that. I think we've come to an end. I know I have. I feel like I've got to go and assimilate a lot of what came through tonight for people. And that's the joy. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do something that was not just me talking about this, that, or the other. But I will be back Wednesday with Norma Talks. And if you watch last week's Norma Talks, you'll find I'm still laughing about it because I typed it as I usually do on Zoom, because I have some people that come in and listen to me. And we talk first, and then they listen, which is very nice. Then they give we talk after. And I lost the whole interview. And then I decided I'd go live. That messed up at first. So then I ended up a short Norma Talks. So that was really, really funny. And then, of course, I'll be back for a Sunday thought. Now, I do want to say this. There will not be a mental mind treatment next Monday. You might ask why. It's because I'm traveling, and I will be in my first stop of destination. Have no idea what time I'll get in, but it's a long drive. Myself and my friend will be doing. And so there won't be a mental mind treatment, and there won't be again on the following Wednesday either. So listen this Wednesday, because the next Wednesday there will be none, because once more it's a travel day as we start heading back from where we were heading. But there will be a Sunday thought, because I will be home unless something else changes, and I will be able to do a Sunday thought. So next week kind of is not happening. No Monday night. So you can go and listen to some of the older ones. And if you feel you wanted the hit of me doing my mental mind treatments, and I'm sure I'll be very, very happy to get back doing them when I get back. In the meantime, stay well, be happy. Remember some of the things that are coming through about how to make life a little easier for you. And remember, you are loved beyond measure. And it's just a matter of you accepting who you are and love yourself for it. Blessings and good night.